What's up, Internet and Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. And today, the figure that we're going to be reviewing is the Maketoys Stealth. Oh shit! I just forgot his name. Buster Stealthwing. That's the one. You can see I prepared very well for this video. Very well. You can also see that I don't run off of a script. It's one of the things that I actually like about my channel. It's not scripted, so everything is just off the top of my head, opinion and evaluation and thoughts. Sometimes just an incessant thought stream. Anyhow, Buster Stealthwing. So he is a black repaint of the Maketoys Cross Dimension X. Is it Cross Dimension or Cross Dimension X? Jetfire. And, I saw the Jetfire and I thought he looked really good. And I'm a fan of Jetfire, and so I was like, I kind of want to pick it up, And then they're like, combined mode, and I was like, combined mode, that's kind of cool. And then they're like, black repaint, and I'm like, oh my god. And then they're like, black repaint combined with the black stealth madness, and I'm like, oh my god. So I had to get it. I actually put it on my Christmas list, and a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, dude, you're the best, got this for me for Christmas, and I'm very pleased with it. And I'm not just pleased with it because it was a gift. Like, I would have been pleased with this if I bought it myself. Though in the interest of full disclosure, I will point out that I have had some issues with this, and this figure has met the touch of cyanoacrylate several times already. Most notably, there's a panel. This whole section here came off at one point, and I had to glue that back on. And one of these shoulders, I don't remember exactly which one. I think it was this one. This comes off, and it's basically this piece right here and this piece right here that are glued together, and they came undone, and I had to glue them back together. And I might end up at some point having to do that with the other one because it feels a little iffy. Also, on his back wings here, these little ratcheting brackets are held on with two screws. One screw from each of these wings was stripped, like fully out. Like when I clicked this, the screw just fell out. And so I super glued those back in as well. So he's got a few points of super glue on him. That being said, I'm pretty certain this is not indicative of the line as a whole. Everyone I've talked to who has one of these, I'm actually the only one I know who's had issues with it. So yeah. Anyhow, so he's got the same sort of stylized, angular, like edgy looking, style that all of the Maketoys cross dimension figures have, and I think that it suits him very, very, very well. It definitely homages the G1 Skyfire in a few ways, but it homages the G1 Jetfire in a lot of ways as well. See, he's got the same sort of like shoulders with the little vents on top. This is the same sort of thing that the classics Jetfire had. That's a cool homage. His helmet, though, is definitely, he's got the like four like ear lasers that the VF1S had, but this sculpt of this little visor here is definitely like straight out of the like Macross flight helmets. That's cool. And of course, the whole style of the armor. These are definitely more, I feel, an homage to the classics Jetfire armors, but actually a lot of this is a more proper homage of the classics Jetfire than the G1 Jetfire. But I really feel like they harken back to Macross on a lot of the aspects of the head. I don't know. Anyhow, when it gets to alt mode, you'll definitely see that it's basically 100% a Quinjet from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But in terms of accessories, all of his accessories that it comes with are just combination accessories because he does combine with the stealth Stealth Manus, Stealth Strikers. Yeah, Stealth Manus. I don't know. Whatever his name is. I reviewed him like a long time ago. Love this figure. It looks amazing. But I forget his name. Whatever. It's Black Optimus Prime. So his hands have even though he doesn't come with any real weapons of his own. Okay, so these weapons do come off and they do have that little like tab system here, but I haven't been able to get them to fit into these hands at all. Like, I mean, he can like hold that handle, but just hold it by grip, by hand grip. That slot doesn't seem to want to work at all. And I also can't seem to get that slot to work with these other ones either. So I don't know. So he's got the same sort of grip tab, but he doesn't come with any weapons for that himself. That being said, he will hold like all of these other weapons. So pistol, he'll hold it, and sword, he'll hold it. Oh, that one didn't even tab in. Maybe it did, and I just flicked it out. Little SMGs. Anyhow, regardless, he holds the other cross-dimension weapons, which is great because I mean it's nice that all of the weapons are compatible. And if you've got the Blackimus Prime, then that comes with the like pile of weapons that you can put on any of the Maketoys cross-dimension figures. And some of the other Maketoys figures, I think, as well. Not 100% certain on that. Don't quote me. But anyhow, so getting into the articulation of this figure. Oh, by the way, I want to point out that his head does have this little gimmick where you can flip up his visor and see his face. I don't really like that because as a helmet with a little visor up, it looks kind of dumb. But most specifically, even when you flip it up, like this blocks his eye holes. Like he doesn't have a good sight line past the underside of that visor. And I think it just looks really good, just as a faceplate, like really good. You can also take and display him with these wings up. You can rotate these out if you want to. These don't articulate like the classics Jetfire ones, or even the G1 Jetfire had the missile pod and the cannon pod, and the cannon pod would like fold over. Oh no, the G1 Jetfire didn't come with a cannon pod. That was the regular super pack for the Macross jets. Oh. Huh, anyhow. So, let's get into his articulation. So his head is on a ball joint. It's actually on a really good, really well-designed ball joint in that he's got a lot of articulation here, side to side, up and down. Head rotates freely. He does not have any kind of, he doesn't have a double joint there, so no, giggity or whatnot, but just a very expressive ball joint. His shoulders will rotate. He's actually got nice, stiff, smooth joint there. Bends around all the way around like that, all the way back. The wing does block from having the full windmilling of the arm, but you don't need the arm to fully windmill, so it has a sufficient amount of posability. His arm will go out that much, plus you can bend it up at that joint there, so quite a bit of bend on that. Most of his joints are these nice tight ratchet joints, because he is a larger figure. I do kind of feel like he's kind of made as an afterthought to the Manus figure. I'll get into that when I actually get towards the end of this review, but anyhow, he has lots of clicky joints, and they're really nice. Double joint on the elbow here, and So it's got a decent amount of articulation there. Not like a, you know, I mean, it'll touch his shoulder mostly, but you know. I mentioned the swivel yet. He does have a wrist swivel here down at his wrist, as you might expect. In terms of finger articulation, these three fingers are all one solid piece. His index finger has got two joints in it here, but even when it's fully extended, he's still got a little bit of that typewriter fingers going on. So I don't know. I don't know why he needs to have a pointing finger, but he does. I guess maybe so that he can have trigger safety. I don't know. Ratchet joint here at the waist. His legs are also on ratchets because there's no skirt arm or anything like that. He'll go all the way forward and a lot of the way back. Very, very decent amount of posability there. His leg will go out for 100% Van Damme. It's nice. He's got a ratcheted swivel here. Double jointed elbow, leg elbow. It's called the knee, but we're just going to call it leg elbow, I guess. Little soft joint there at the ankle and some tilt as well. You can also articulate the angle of his heel and toe if you want to change that up. But very nice figure. It's got a good amount of posability. It looks well. It poses well. It's actually pretty nice. I'm not going to say that it's... I don't like this. All in all, it's not quite the same as these Optimus Prime figures. I think that this one is not quite as good as those ones. But all in all, I feel that's still a pretty decent figure. But let's get into transformation here. So for transformation, we're just going to take off these guns. You can transform them with the guns on, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I always take them off because it just seems much more intuitive. And the fact that you have to, you know, combine these by the end of the transformation. Maybe you can't transform with the guns on. Anyhow, start of the arms real quick. You want to take his hand, rotate it out like this. Open up his forearm. Fold his fist in. Close that up. Sorry, I keep on doing this. You kind of got to open up his fist just a little bit. Did I rotate his fist the wrong way? I don't think I did. I had this right just a second ago. Yeah, there we go. So I guess you just gotta have his fist in just exactly the right position, and then everything works out just fine. But there's no real physical indication of what that position is, aside from if it doesn't close up, you must not have gotten it right. Well, so what we're going to do next is we're going to untab these shoulders. They're on a pretty stiff joint here. It helps if you kind of push with your thumb on this and then kind of pull, like almost like you're pulling your shoulder a bit forward, because there's this big tab right here. And like you can put this up there and there's like a little tab here and that'll align it up, but it won't actually clip in until you actually sit there and clip that in. And it's a very soft click going in, but it's a strong one coming out because it holds on just tight. So we're going to unclip both of these shoulders. We're going to untab this from here, and then you'll see that this is on this little double joint in here. You're going to rotate that out a little bit. And then you're going to fold out this nose cone. Nose cone. Yes, that nose cone. Clip that into place. Folding this out on that joint gives you all the space you need to move this around his head. And then continue bringing it around so that this little tab right in here fits into that little slot right there behind the cockpit. Make sure that his ears are not being a nuisance to me. There's that. before I get too far into this, I know I'm going to want to change those wings. I'll do that in a second. So you want to take his legs and fold them out, rotate them out like this. Rotate them out 90 degrees. And then you want to rotate his hips up past that waist section. And then that will allow these to fold all the way back. This is as good a time as any to rotate these wings around. These wings, by the way, they slide in and out. And at this point, you want to slide them out and lift them up. So like this. And then make sure that they're out and up as much as they'll go, because you're going to want that space. So with his arms in this configuration, you're going to rotate at the bicep swivel and bring this all the way back like that. Rotate at the bicep swivel, bring it all the way back. There's a tab and a slot in his shoulder, and there's a tab and a slot in this forearm. And you're just gonna kind of peg these together. These might possibly come unpegged in a little bit as we continue to work with this, but you know what, it'll be fine. We can deal with that. We can deal with anything. We're all badass here, right? Right. So for the legs, what you want to do is bring these out and then rotate them. They will rotate at this crotch joint here. And then what you want to do is, again, take this panel here and unfold that and fold this panel out. And then this is on a slider. You're going to slide this down like that. And then you're going to slide this one up like that. Fold this in. This toe is going to fold all the way around like so. And you're going to fold this at, like I said, he's got a double joint on his knee. You're going to take what's the upper joint on that knee? You're going to fold that all the way as far as it will go, and then start bending at the hip joint. That'll come down just a couple clicks. You really want to take this and just get this panel to come up and over this section here, because it'll tab into that, but not until everything is like perfectly aligned. In fact, why is this not better aligned? There must be... I need to get this part squeezed in just a bit more. I'm not sure you're really going to be able to see it on camera. There's a tab. Let me see if I can get some lighting in here just to show you specifically how it works. Alright, so you can see this little bit in here. I'm gonna use a pointy part. Yeah, pointy part. This little bit in here kind of sits up, and this section here on the wing is getting hung up on that corner. So you gotta kind of get everything properly configured and then push it down, and it will fold flush. So let me undo this one more time to show you exactly what's happening. Yeah, okay. So as this comes down, basically the contour of the underside of this whole area here is going to fit into the contour of here, and it fits in there very precisely. So when you bring this down, you want to make sure this tab is on top of that, and it helps to make sure that you're kind of pushing this back with your hand a little bit, and then holding this on the underside here with your thumb, and you just kind of squeeze that till it clicks in like that. So that's what's happening there. So for this other leg, we're going to do what we did for the first leg. Fold this out, fold this, slide this down like that, slide this panel up. Let me get my hand out of the way so you can see exactly what's happening. Slide this panel up like now I'm holding it in a weird way. Alright, we'll just hold it like this. Slide it up like that. This will fold in. This toe is going to fold around. This whole thing is going to kind of collapse down. You want to fold this at this upper joint on the knee first, and then start folding at the hip here. But as I do this, I want to make sure that this panel goes up and over all of this. If it seems a little overly complicated, it's kind of because it is. Like the actual motion is simple, but these click joints are really, really tight, and they're wanting to dislodge parts instead of move parts. So we're just going to have to massage everything into place once we're getting this in. There we go. All right, that got me my one click that I wanted. So for these panels here, you'll notice that there's a tab in here, and you'll see from this angle here, it's kind of a T-tab, so they won't just peg in. There's actually a second one down here as well, where my finger's poking. So these will need to slide over each other. Let me rotate these ankles. That will help me out. Squeeze those together, slide them in to each other. It helps if you bring your finger up to kind of poke into that, to push them, help push them together. Now what you'll do is there's a couple little tabs up on these panels here, and just fold those in flush. Make sure these suckers want to tab together. Make sure these are in position. This became untabbed. We'll put that back into place. Now what we want to do is we want to fold out these wing tips, and there's this little vent in here. We're going to fold this out. It's got this like little bit of a fan detail in there, and when we tab the wing in, we're also going to tab this into a slot there. So pull that in, put that in, and there it is. So then we take this gun, take his forearm gun, and this is the back gun. These little can barrels will plug into this little hole system back there. And then you're just going to take this whole damn thing and plug it into. So these are not symmetrical. You'll see that they both have this fin coming off the top, and then they have opposing fins coming out the side. So you'll just take this will plug into that tab right there, and this will plug into that slot right there. And le voila. And do the same with the other side. Slot that into place. Sometimes these don't want to stay plugged in together. They'll stay in alignment because that's where their pegs are designed to be, but sometimes they feel like they don't really want to actually peg in together. And there it is in its Quinjet mode. And I mean, goddamn, tell me if I'm wrong, but that is absolutely Quinjet from Avengers or you know, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like 100%. There's the underside. It's all messy robot stuff with some visible head syndrome. You could probably turn that head around before you transform it if you really were bothered by that. But, I mean, we're all gonna, you know, if you have it in this mode, you're probably just gonna end up parking it. I mean, that being said, it is very swooshable. You know, it does, once it's all together, it does stay together very, very well. So he does have some landing struts. So these are his heels right here. You can take these and fold them out like so. And then he has a dedicated landing strut here on the front. That'll fold out like so. And then he just kind of plops down on those three. And looks an awful lot like he did in Avengers, the first one. But yeah, it's a very cool looking jet. Very artsy looking. Does not look like Jetfire at all in this mode. But you know what? I'm going to 100% forgive it because it looks really cool. If I wanted a specific, you know, G1 looking Jetfire, I'd pick up a G1 Jetfire. Or if I wanted a, you know, Skyfire looking Jetfire, then I would pick up the Commander class Siege Jetfire, which I already have. So, all of his like thrusters and rockets on the back here. One of the things that's kind of weird about this is because of the angles and whatnot. Like, even though I feel like I've got everything lined up properly, like they don't look like they're lined up. Like, oh, let me get this in shot. Like, these definitely look like they're supposed to line up better, but they're definitely as lined up as they get. I don't know. Looks gorgeous. The red, the black, the silver. It's very pleasing to my personal aesthetic. I like it a lot. But this isn't even his final form. So what we're going to do for this, I'm just going to tear it apart from this mode here. So we're going to take these guns and these guns. We want to, if you take your finger and push it all the way through here, you can push up on these little tabs. Like that. Untab them from here. If you take this here and unfold it a little bit, just to get it out past all of this. Then you can take, there's this little button right here, push on that and yank this straight out this way. That will disconnect this whole backpack. We're going to stick this aside. You want to get this section right here and just pull that off. It comes off fairly easily. You want to take these shoulder sections right here. As this arm came apart, that actually just pulled itself off. It just slides right out like that. We'll take those with us. As for these legs, you want to take this section and slide this down, and then you want to pull on this. And you'll see that this is kind of on this double joint down in here. This is actually all easier to do in robot mode. So one thing I want to point out, so when this comes out, that clears out this detail here. If this isn't fully pushed down, this is going to block you from opening up this section here. But even when it is fully open, it's a little stiff. So there you go. See how that swings out? Again, on the other side, there's another one. Swings out on that little double joint right there. And then this whole section just disconnects. It does. It really does. I'm not lying to you. And you'll see it connects on these two tabs right here that plug into these two connectors right here. So let's do the same with the other side. Slide this all the way down. Pull out this panel here. Pull out this panel here. Yank on this one till it releases. And then all of this is not needed. We're going to stick it aside. It'll look sad over there. We're going to bring in this guy right here. And so, to get this figure ready for combination, what you want to do is you want to transform his feet into his lower legs into their truck mode. So, you want to pull on his knee. That's going to untab. Actually, first let's do his foot. Unfold this foot all the way. Pull on this knee. That'll untab that. This swings down on a double hinge. Plugs back into place. This tab plugs into a hole right there. This foot is going to come and fold up on itself. And then this tab is going to plug into that slot right there. And it's pretty tight. And again with the other side, foot. Grab the knee. Bring this around. Plug it back in. Plug that in, fold up his foot, tab that in, and there he is, ready for some combination action. I'm going to take this leg and basically transform the foot into his robot mode, the Jetfire's robot mode. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take, see these little clips right here. These little clips right here are going to clip into this hollow. Come on, focus on the leg. This hollow right here. Like that. And then this leg is going to actually, you know, this is going to be easier before I plug it in. So this thing, when this thing slides up and down, it's releasing a mechanism inside that that allows these big tabs to pull out. When they come out all the way, this tab right here is going to plug into a little slot in there. And same with this other one. Let's see if we can get some light in there. This is all very dark. Makes me regret reviewing black repaint sometimes. But there's a little tab in there that's going to fit into. And so with that in that position, plug that in. And then this just comes around and sits on the back. Like so. And again with the other side, we're going to plug those into those little tab there and that little tab there. I'll fold this foot out. Slide this back up. Tab this into his leg. Close this up. There's some feet. And then for his upper arms, what we're going to do is we're going to take these and there's this big old slot right here, and there's a smaller slot here. And so the big slot is going to fit into, it doesn't fit into a tab on his shoulder. It fits into this little slot that's on the actual smokestack axe. Except I've got the wrong shoulder. So you'll fit that into that little tab right there. Kind of wrap it around a little bit. Plug it into the other side. Same with this one. Plug that in. That goes into there. And wraps around to the other side. Boom. Then you want to take this section right here. This is one of the accessories that comes with Jetfire, and that's going to plug in. You'll see there's a couple of tabs right in here. These are going to plug into these tabs on the tops of his shoulders. These slots, I mean. Like that. You can take this accessory, where to go, right here, and this has got like a little removable matrix on here. This will plug into his chest section, and then this detail will plug in on top of that. That is kind of a bitch to get off later, so be warned. And then last but not least, you want to take his wings, slide them out, flip them around this way, and then that just plugs into the section right here. You can take this and just kind of prop it up against his back. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to do, but then you can take these guns here and you can plug them into the top of his shoulders, which you can't even see at the moment really, because he's getting taller. He's becoming a tall boy. And then you want to take these sections. These are the last accessories that came with the Jetfire. And you want to plug them into his forearms here and here. And that is basically a panel which has a peg hole in it, and then that peg hole will accept this weapon right here. And there he is, all combined up with the Shadow Manus. And it looks pretty damn awesome. Like, this is definitely a reason to get this figure. I'm not necessarily certain if I can say that it's the reason to get this figure, but it's definitely one of the reasons. This looks really cool. It looks really great. Just mean, big, bulky. As I mentioned, I do feel that it is very, like, they looked at this Striker Manus figure and was like, okay, if we wanted to do something cool with this, what could we do with it? And looked at ways that they could add stuff on, because all this stuff is very, like none of these attachment points are designed into the original figure. It's making use of all the existing stuff that has all of its existing purposes. Also, The hips on this Striker Manus figure are a little weak, especially for this whole combined figure here. I mean, my figure is tight enough that I'm not really having any kind of a trouble with it. But if this one, you know, had seen more play and less display, those hips might be weaker and might have not as much problem. He still has knee joints here, though now that extends, since his knee is like all the way down in there, now it extends like way down his knee, which if you look at this as you know, this is all his lower leg, like that's not super extravagant as far as, you know, upper knee armor goes. He's got the same arm posability that he had before, now only slightly hampered by the wings being there. Of course, the same waist posability, not as much of an ab crunch with this big old thing on there. You're not going to get as much dynamic posing out of this figure with the large wing assembly and backpack assembly on there. But god damn, does it look good. I recommend it. I really do. Like, I can't sit here and be like, no, I don't know if you should get it or not. Like, if you like the cross dimension figures, well, you probably have one of these already. But if you're on the fence about it, I will tell you that this thing looks fantastic, and I definitely recommend it. Anyhow, thanks to everybody for watching. You guys are fantastic. Everybody, be good to each other and stay awesome. See ya. Bye.